We gonna do something we gonna regret for the rest of our lives. Doctor?
Come on, what?
Always do the right thing.
Do the Right Thing, directed by Spike Lee, is described by Denson as one of the most disturbing films of the 1980s. Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing branched from commercial cinema and is seen as one of the most controversial films. Being an independent film, it allowed Lee to use his own techniques and show the raw edges of harsh reality, which otherwise would not be shown in commercial films. Manthea Diawara discusses the evident dichotomy between blackness and Americanness and of the portrayal of both these cultures in film. She explains that films in which contain black protagonists or are about black people show them as the problem. In Lee's film, he uses cinematic techniques that branches from this Hollywood idea of blackness, by creatively both supporting and contradicting this argument. Lee shows a black neighborhood and the problems associated with the environment, although he pinpoints the problem not on just the black people, but through the racism that occurs from each culture, and even through the authoritative figures. Lee uses several techniques in order to portray the existing racism within the neighborhood. This includes repetition of shots and sameness, which gives understanding on the repeating racial stereotypes.
$20 de-energizers.
20 C energizers?
D, not C, D.
C energizers?
D, motherfucker, D! Learn to speak English first.
Being an independent film, Do the Right Thing allowed alternative ways of seeing the black culture and capture the authenticity. Lee uses unique cinematic shots in order to portray racism and authenticity in the suburb. As Danton states, Do the Right Thing provides an apt contrast to the films. It forces the viewer to confront hard moral choices concerning the racial order in America. In this way, Do the Right Thing asks its audience to reconsider meaning. As Paula Massoud states, Lee helped usher a new cinematic look and vocabulary in American filmmaking.
Let me tell you the story of right hand, left hand. It's a tale of good and evil. Hate. It was with this hand that Cain iced his brother. Love. These 5 fingers, they go straight to the soul of man. The right hand, the hand of love. The story of life is this. Static. One hand is always fighting the other hand. And the left hand is kicking much ass. I mean, it looks like the right hand love is finished. But hold on, stop the presses, the right hand's coming back. Yeah, he got the left hand on the ropes now, that's right. Yeah, ooh, it's a devastating right hand. Hate is hurt, he's down. Ooh, left hand hate, KO'd by love.
Do the Right Thing is a film that explores the relationship between love and hate, and how the two counteract each other, and further, how they together are powerful enough to destroy the human soul. You can't hate without love, and you can't love without hate, causing a war within all. Spike Lee explores this theme politically through the race and ethnicity battle within 80s America. The film portrays white man's power in a black man's world. Denson states this to be a political love. A love embedded in violence, hate, self-interest, racial slurs, and ethnic pride. A love that mobilizes peace and non-violence, and a love which justifies violence and hate. A love that cuts through the fabrics of family, group, and work identity to the heart of the racially defined self, a self dived against itself, a self which loves and hates itself at the same time. This theme of love, hate, and violence is further explored in the film through a recurring reference to Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X.
Well, I don't think of love as, in this context, as emotional bosh. I don't think of it as a weak force. But I think of love as something strong and that organizes itself into powerful direct action.
It has been suggested also that this movement
preaches a gospel of violence.
No, the black people in this country have been the victims of violence at the hands of the white man for 400 years. And following the ignorant Negro preachers, we have thought that it was godlike to turn the other cheek to the brute that was brutalizing us. And today, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is showing black people in this country that just as the white man and every other person on this earth has God-given rights, natural rights, civil rights, any kind of rights that you can think of when it comes to defending himself, black people should have the right to defend ourselves also.
A photograph of Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X shaking hands recurs throughout the film through the character Smiley, a retarded white man who carries multiple photographs of the two. Denson states that the film in fact argues that these two historical figures define the paradoxical situation of contemporary blacks and whites, and that doing the right thing involves resolving the conflicts between love and hate, non-violence and violence, self-defense and fighting, the power that be. Although Martin Luther King and Malcolm X were rivals and did not see eye to eye on how to solve the situation, they were also allies in the sense that they were fighting for the same thing. This makes Smiley's ending of the film once Sal's diner has burnt down symbolic. After all the white Italian-American heroes' photographs have been burnt off Sal's diner's wall of fame, a black-faced Smiley places the recurring photograph of Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X shaking hands up on the wall to replace the previous photographs. The question is this a symbol of love or hate? Violence or non-violence? The blacks defeating the whites? Or the two races finally making peace? Have a think about this, and we will discuss this further.
Spike Lee's films are known for being overtly political and usually surrounded by controversy and arguments among critics. However, his 2006 film, Inside Man, definitely doesn't follow Lee's standard formula. This film acts as a great comparison to Do the Right Thing, as it was the first film where he had adapted his style to suit a studio-based, big-budget action film. Inside Man is a classic bank robbery film with a slight twist in its plot to include an extra level of sophistication with a World War II Nazi element. This film, despite its studio-based nature, still managed to spark discussion amongst critics. Some were notably relieved that Lee had created a film that catered more to the entertainment factor rather than the political message, whilst others accused Lee of suppressing his views to suit Hollywood. Inside Man, however, was not completely devoid of political messages, and despite the completely different style and techniques used, Lee was still able to implement some signature racial messages.
I work in the bank. Okay, Vikram, is this a bomb? Oh shit, a fucking Arab! I'm a Sikh! Is that a bomb? No. Answer me, Vikram, is this a bomb?
The following scene shows an example of the subtle techniques used to touch upon 9/11 racial profiling issues in the USA. A Sikh man is clearly treated with heightened prejudice because of his appearance similarities to those of the 9/11 terrorists.
I'm not talking to anybody without a turban. It's part of my religion, to cover my head in respect to God. I'm a Sikh.
Okay, we'll find your turban.
Not an Arab, by the way, like your cops called me outside.
I don't think you heard that. I mean, there was a lot going on. You were probably disoriented. I didn't hear that.
I heard what I heard.
You just gotta start thinking about the people inside the bank now. It's a dangerous situation. You gotta start telling us about what's going on inside the bank. We can talk about this later. We'll get an office, come down, you can write a formal complaint. But for now, we gotta deal with this situation.
First you beat me and now you want my help.
You need to start thinking about your coworkers. We apologize on behalf of the NYPD, but that was not us. We are detectives. So we're gonna try and find out.
What do you want to know?
How many were there?
I think there were about 4.
How many hostages?
I don't know how many hostages. 20, 30. Fucking tired of this shit. What happened to my fucking civil rights? Why can't I go anywhere without being harassed? Get thrown out of a bank. I'm a hostage. I get harassed. I go to the airport. I can't go through security without a random selection. Fucking random my ass. I nearly lost my
I bet you can get a cab, though.
I guess that's one of the perks.
Put the ice on your face.
The techniques used in Inside Man are subtle and intertwined, a stark contrast to Do the Right Thing, where the entertainment value of the film almost takes second place to conveying the racial message. The following scene where characters say racial slurs directly to camera is almost completely a sidetrack from the plot, and is a signature technique of Lee that highlights the extreme variance in styles used in Inside Man and Do the Right Thing.
Dago Wab, Guinea, garlic bread, pizza slinging, spaghetti bending, Victimone, Perry Como, Luciano Pavarotti, solo meal non-singer motherfucker.
You gold teeth, gold chain wearing, fried chicken and biscuit eating, monkey, ape baboon, big thigh, fast running, high jumping, spear chucking, 360-degree basketball dunking, titsoon, spade, mullignan. Take your fucking pizza and go the fuck back to Africa.
You little slanty-eyed, me no speaky American, own every fruit and vegetable stand in New York, bullshit Reverend Sun Young Moon, Summer Olympic 88 Korean kickboxing sabaran bitch.
You Goya bean eating, 15 in a car, 30 in an apartment, pointy shoes, red wearing, menudo, meter, Puerto Rican cocksucker? Yeah, you!
It's cheap. I got good price for you. Now catch it. How I'm doing? Chocolate egg cream drinking, bagel and deluxe, banana for this Jew asshole.
When looking at the subtle messages conveyed in Inside Man, it becomes very clear how abrupt the messages are in Do the Right Thing.
No! Hold up! Time out! Time out! Y'all take a chill. You need to cool that shit out. And that's the double truth. Fight the power! Fight the power!